Crypto company investments have just hit their highest level since 2022, even as Ethereum mega whales are buying in aggressively, at a time when Bitcoin, XRP, Link, and other assets are riding what looks like a bullish black swan. Can we be as wildly optimistic as those mega whales? Let's find out. Fundraising through cryptocurrencies reached $10 billion in the second quarter, the highest total since early 2022. Venture capital investment in crypto rebounded strongly in Q2 2025, with firms raising $10.03 million during the 3 months ending in June. It was the strongest quarter since Q1 2022. This uptick follows months of relative stagnation in capital investments and funding rounds, suggesting that crypto interest is coming back. Notably, fundraising activity was spread across multiple sectors, with significant demand for blockchain infrastructure and DeFi. Undoubtedly, this is fantastic news. Corporate funding rounds for crypto companies are growing again, especially considering that back in 2022, we experienced an all-time high not only in crypto markets, but across the entire ecosystem. As you already know, after that all-time high, we experienced a complex bearish corrective pattern. If you look at this chart showing venture capital investment in crypto companies, you'll notice that in the throes of market FOMO, which is understandable, the funding value for firms betting on cryptocurrency growth actually climbed to record levels. Of course, when the 2022 bubble burst, what we call the alt season, or the bear market, you can see how that venture capital interest in crypto investments dropped off sharply. We're talking about a period from roughly August 2022 through September 2024, during which crypto companies struggled to find investors willing to back their businesses. Naturally, this made it harder for new crypto ventures to emerge and hindered overall ecosystem growth and mass adoption. But since September 2024, coinciding with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies rallying to new price highs, we've seen venture capital interest in funding crypto companies return once again. Here's the thing, after seeing how the landscape looked over the past year and a half, it was pretty worrying. So watching that interest bounce back is undoubtedly a long-term positive for crypto, not just because any immediate influx of capital is great, of course, but because of the signal it sends to the market when you've got major investment funds lining up to back companies focused on crypto. It's because they see real potential there. That means these new businesses will ramp up their marketing, reach a broader audience, and that audience will begin engaging with the crypto ecosystem in one way or another, with all the benefits that entails. You get the picture. And speaking of big wins, let's also talk about how the largest Ethereum whales are stacking up more coins than they held before Ethereum's 95% surge in 2022. Here we're looking at those mega whales, entities that control 10,000 Ethereum or more, and tracking their net positions. It's a strong indicator that these deep pocket holders believe in Ethereum's future just as much as the VCs believe in the broader crypto industry. Let's simplify it. In this chart, the black line is Ethereum's price, no surprises there, starting in February 2018 and running through February 2025, or really up to today, even though the dates aren't shown. But the line that really matters is the exposure of these mega whales to long positions in Ethereum, which you see in purple. When that purple line rises, it means more mega whale buyers are taking long positions in ETH. When it falls, it means those whales are reducing their long exposure. With that in mind, notice that since August 2020, those mega whales have largely disappeared from Ethereum on a macro level. If you compare Ethereum's chart to Bitcoin's, Bitcoin looks super bullish, which is understandable, but that's not our focus today. What matters is how that purple line, the long exposure of entities holding 10,000 Ethereum or more, has been growing since October 2024. And just look at what happened the last time we saw this kind of move. Here we can see how that buying interest from mega whales was able to trigger a revaluation in Ethereum's price, shown by the black line. We observed a surge in mega whale purchases and a corresponding uptick in Ethereum's value. Now, with whales buying aggressively again, we might be witnessing the start of another price rally for Ethereum. After all, it's no secret that mega whales, the big investment funds, the so-called smart money, largely steer the market. They're the investors with the deepest information and the greatest expertise, making their moves with careful strategy. On the chart, you're looking at the distribution of Ethereum's cost basis. And the main takeaway here, really the only use we're getting from this heat map visualization, is to understand where buying is concentrated at today's prices. If we trace Ethereum's price action since January, we see that the heaviest cluster of market buy positions is forming right in the current range. That tells us the most significant accumulation accumulation is happening right now. And without going too far, let's see how at current levels, we could be seeing the highest concentration of buying yet. Notice how the chart you were just looking at is outdated. It only showed Ethereum up to around that point, which is where we saw a record concentration of buys since January. But check this out. In the latest Crypto Insight video and in our most recent Crypto Insight Premium live stream, across the entire crypto ecosystem, we were looking for buys in this exact zone, not just in Ethereum, but in Bitcoin, Link, and even SUI. That's how we broke it down. Then comes a less aggressive outlook. Something like, hey, look, I just don't want it to drop any further, and maybe on a retest or even a fake out, look for the long entry. That too. Even a trap within that structure. That could also be a good idea. Let's go down to the H1 time frame to look at this. The thing is, we already came down here with a lot of aggression. The black magic blocked us here, we accumulated and moved away. I think it shouldn't come back to that zone anymore, it just shouldn't. But hey, it's still possible. In the end, if we see that just coming here and leaving isn't enough for them, then fine, give it some time, let it come back to the test. Maybe they just want a clean farewell before taking off. All right, let's move on to Link. I'm being pretty cautious right now, very cautious. Both Solana and Link are kind of telling us to be careful, to use them as a proxy. And often they do that job well. It's a way to avoid just firing at anything that moves. Solana and Link are inviting us to stay calm. Let it fall into this area without a trap. That would be great. Now, this weird movement today, that's the one I mentioned. So let it come into the zone. A trap scenario, that'd be brilliant. All right, the long setup. In this video, we're going to answer the million-dollar question. Are we still optimistic on Bitcoin and the broader crypto ecosystem, or do we think the market is due for a crash? I'll share that with you shortly, but first...
Welcome to Crypto Insight, your ethical and moral channel for cryptocurrency technical analysis. Here, we really know what we're talking about. We conduct advanced technical analysis that has been developed for over 12 years. We upload videos several times a week. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, let me know and leave a comment with your opinion. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell so you don't miss the next opportunity.
Let's keep talking about Ethereum, which has been our main focus. Notice how we were analyzing the breakout of a key structure, and Ethereum has already done it. Now, it seems to be rushing down to test another structure that will be essential for setting up a massive revaluation in its price. After all, we came off a powerful impulse in Ethereum, followed by a market pause with a trap that was reclaimed, and now it's taking off in a very solid way. Since all this stems from the wedge breakout, it's entirely plausible, well within the map, to expect Ethereum to keep appreciating over the long term. In other words, Ethereum's rally and crypto's broader ascent doesn't have to be over. We could see major gains across the entire ecosystem, and that's exactly what we believe at Crypto Insight. Next, we'll turn our focus to Bitcoin, but first we need to pay attention to XRP. As we discussed, XRP's bullish accumulation phase has finally broken the creek to the upside. That was precisely what we were looking for. But has XRP delivered its full potential yet? Absolutely not. Right now, it looks like it's carving out a breakout of a higher degree trend line. If that breakout materializes, as we at Crypto Insight are optimistic it will, XRP could deliver the real payoff from this range that's lulled many crypto investors to sleep. In short, we want to see a massive macro black swan event to catapult XRP and the entire crypto market even higher. Before diving into Bitcoin, let's glance at certain altcoins like Solana. Unlike Ethereum and XRP, Solana hasn't yet broken its key structure. That doesn't mean it won't, far from it, but we're watching closely for that critical breakout. We're simply observing how certain assets like Solana are now knocking on the door to potentially trigger a black swan event that could propel us even higher in the short and medium term crypto landscape. That in itself is super exciting because in this YouTube video, there's no point in me sketching out exactly how I think the price might behave in the immediate term. The goal of Crypto Insight's YouTube videos is to inform inform long-term spot investors in crypto. Short-term futures traders and intraday operators are already in the Crypto Insight Premium community, where we explicitly hunt intraday opportunities and map out potential price moves. So in these videos, I think it's more sensible not to overcomplicate things and instead deliver a simple, clear message. Regarding Solana, for the medium and long term, we remain bullish on its price, regardless of the intraday noise it may generate. Just like Solana, BNB is also knocking on the door of a key structure. It almost broke through, but honestly, here at Crypto Insight, we're optimistic and believe this structure will eventually give way, so we remain bullish on BNB. Here's the Link chart, and soon we'll turn to Bitcoin. Notice how Link's price has produced a pretty clear black swan, exactly the kind of move we've been waiting for at Crypto Insight. I explained in earlier videos how smart money engineers these events so that the average retail investor can't pinpoint the real structural levels that funds trade. They create this confusion on purpose so you can't analyze it correctly. But you already knew we were expecting this black swan, and apart from the inevitable intraday noise, a pullback could happen before continuation. I'll tell you, we're bullish on Chainlink. Any investor going long in crypto, whether in Chainlink or another token, is, in our opinion, well positioned. Look at the massive XLM rally. Its revaluation has been absolutely wild. To be honest, getting into a long position on XLM was very tricky. We were evaluating how to enter around here, but it was quite complex. Unfortunately, we took XLM out of the equation when hunting for longs, but as you saw with the other assets, those long setups paid off nicely. Now, Stellar's seen a massive revaluation, and interestingly, it landed right on the one macro structure we've been highlighting in Crypto Insight for weeks. That's exactly where price stalled. To me, XLM is firing on all cylinders. It looks poised to engineer a macro black swan event that could make up for this slow, choppy decline with a sudden surge. In other words, we could be in for some big, important crypto developments. Quickly on to Bitcoin. I've already been sharing these upside moves in Crypto Insight, and I've shown you why buying that dip in Bitcoin or Ethereum made so much sense. In spot markets, you can go long from way down here. And if you ask me about XLM again, well, yes, we can remain bullish there too. Now look at SUI. It's battling a key structure right now, trying to break through. Whether it does so immediately or needs a pullback first, we'll cover all that in our Crypto Insight Premium live streams. But for a long-term perspective, the bottom line is this. Despite whatever volatility SUI's price may show, we remain optimistic on SUI over the medium and long term. And as MicroStrategy already told us, and I've been sharing this with you without rehashing every detail, the key point is that after breaking that creek, price went hunting for liquidity and then broke the creek to the upside again. That move kept us bullish on crypto and explains much of the rally we're seeing across the ecosystem. If we look at total market cap, the data is just as compelling. We'd be working a black swan setup, the same story in total 2 and again in total 3, but what really matters is sharing my take on what Bitcoin itself is doing. I want to introduce you to our private Telegram channel, which is completely free. In fact, at the time of recording this video, we're also live streaming for the community. During these live sessions, we look for trading opportunities in the futures market. We focus on intraday trades, and within this community, members also share their operational ideas, what they're working on, and what they're looking for in the markets at any given moment. It's honestly very interesting. This community is constantly learning and improving. So if you're an active trader and tired of trading alone, you can join our community. It's very simple. The requirements are as follows. You need to be a user of BitUnix or BuyDFI, have deposited cryptocurrencies into your BitUnix or BuyDFI accounts with a minimum value of $100.00, and use this account as your primary futures trading account. In other words, you need to be actively trading. Once you've met these requirements, simply fill out the form displayed on the screen. It consists of just 5 simple questions, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. And what better time to do it than now? Our friends at BitUnix have set up an exclusive promo for new users where they'll cover up to $100.00 in losses. So if this is your first time trading and you're looking to join the Crypto Insight Premium Telegram channel, you might want to take advantage of this safety net in case of potential losses. Remember, BitUnix is an exchange that doesn't need a VPN to be accessed from anywhere in the world. To make things easier, I'm leaving you the BitUnix promo details and the Crypto Insight Premium access form in the description and pinned comment of this video. Regarding Bitcoin, we were itching to see how, after that market trap and this aggressive recovery impulse, it would establish a demand line. We tolerated and accepted the trap because we recognized it as the classic demand line that forms right before a key structure break. break. And that's exactly where we find ourselves now. Now, we may see some market fluctuations, of course, and that's fine. But just as with the rest of the crypto ecosystem, I'll tell you that we're also positive on Bitcoin's medium and long-term outlook. If you want to know what we think might happen in terms of price swings, whether it could dip a bit today or maybe tomorrow, where the next buying or selling opportunity is in the futures market, all of that, as you know, we cover inside Crypto Insight Premium. You'll find the access form link in this video's description. So now tell me, how do you see the crypto ecosystem over the medium and long term? Are you bullish or bearish? Leave your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this advanced technical analysis interesting, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell so YouTube notifies you of future uploads. Good luck with your trading, and until next time,